Hey guys, DJ here at Top Deck Cards and Games, and today I'm going to do a deck profile for Majespecters. It's right after the pre-release, so it took a little bit of effort to get all this stuff. Luckily, nothing for the deck was a secret rare, so it wasn't too much of a struggle to get it all together. It is a new deck, a new archetype. It's a pendulum deck. It's very neat. I'm happy to play the pendulum mechanic and it not be Clifford, basically. I do think the deck is really cool. I'm not sure how competitive it is. I like what it does a lot, though. And I don't know, I'm just really interested to kind of explore the possibilities of pendulums. This is a work in progress, obviously, since this is brand new. I haven't gotten to play a ton with it, but I'm just going to get into the list and we can kind of talk about what it does. First we have 3 Majespecter Cat. Cat searches any Majespecter card at the end of your turn. 3 Majespecter Crow. Crow searches Majespecter spells when it's summoned. 3 Majespecter Fox. Fox searches traps when it's summoned. 3 Majespecter Raccoon. Raccoon searches monsters when it's summoned. 3 Majespecter Unicorn. Unicorn does not search when it's summoned, actually. Unicorn lets you bounce during either player's turn, bounce a pendulum monster in your monster zones and a monster your opponent controls, and return them both to the hand. Now, all 5 of these guys also have the ability that they cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which makes them a little bit difficult to deal with, and then when they get killed by battle, they're just going to go to your extra deck since they're pendulum monsters, and you're going to get to summon them again. They're all vanillas in the pendulum zones. They just have their scales. They're either 2 or 5s. 2, 5, 2, 5, and 2. So as you can see, there are more 2s than 5s, which is fine. But the awkward thing, using just their monsters alone, you can't pendulum out the unicorn. You have to tribute for it, which isn't the end of the world since you get to special summon with your pendulum summons. And then we have 3 of them are level, or 2 of them, sorry, are level 4 monsters. 2 of them are level 3 monsters, and then the unicorn's a 6. The level 4s are what you're going to mostly use for your extra deck, synchroing and exceeding for level 4s. I actually don't have a single rank 3 in my extra. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't know when I would actually use it, other than maybe like a Musa Rhythm to run something over. But in general, the way this deck works, it puts these guys in play, spams them out with pendulums, and then their support spell and traps make you sacrifice them to keep control of the board. But anyways, I'm playing a full complement of them because having them in your pendulum zone is really important to be able to summon them. So it's not really that bad to draw like 5 Majespecter monsters. To go along with them, though, I have 3 copies of Luster Pendulum Draco Slayer. This card is just insane. Having it plus like a fox or, you know, a raccoon even. Raccoon's not the greatest example, but especially fox. This guy plus fox is absolutely insane because you're going to put the fox into your extra deck and then search another one. You still have your scales set and you have an extra fox to pendulum out. On top of that, the Draco Slayer extra deck cards are really, really strong, and I'm more than happy to use him because of that. I also have 2 copies of Archfiend Eccentric. Or 3 copies, rather. Eccentric is pretty cool because it's a 7 scale, so it lets you pendulum out the unicorn. It gives you a lot of utility in that it's a combo card in the sense that you can use it to pendulum out your monsters, and you can use it for your pendulum summons, but it also has the utility of being able to kill an opponent's back row or deal with a problem monster. So this card is just extremely good in the deck. I originally was only playing 2 copies, but I found having extra monsters to pendulum with was actually just really beneficial. So I went up to the full 3 copies. Those are my monsters. I have 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, 3 copies of Terraforming, and those are going to search out. Right now I just have 3 copies of Majesty's Pegasus, the Majespecter field spell. What Majesty's Pegasus does is pump my Majespecter dudes up by 300 attack and defense, and I contribute a wind spellcaster monster I control to special summon a level 4 lower Majespecter monster from my deck. I can only use that effect once each turn, so it does get kind of cloggy to have all these, but it really just makes the deck work. So I chose to play a full complement of Terraformers just to find them. Then I have 2 copies of Majespecter Cyclone. I do not play Majespecter Storm. It was slow and clunky. I would, play cards like Regeki and Darkwool if I wanted an effect like that. I don't think that it's worth it. Then I have 3 copies of Majespecter Tempest for my traps. This card is just insane. It lets you tribute a level 4, or not level 4 lower, sorry, it lets you tribute a wind spellcaster type monster to negate a special summon or an activation of a monster effect. Then I have 1 copy of Majespecter Tornado. This might be too few copies of this. You do run out of spells and traps to search in the list that I'm showing you guys. Same with the Cyclones, you might want an extra copy, or even just to play a Storm just to have more targets, because you will run out in this list if you don't close the game out quickly enough, but I just wanted to focus on doing powerful things and playing less cloggy Majespecter traps. But yeah, one Tornado, which lets you tribute a level, I don't know why I keep saying level thing, man. Tribute a Wind Spellcaster to remove from play or banish one of your opponent's monsters. Then I have 2 copies of Storm Mirror Force, a Bottomless Trap Hole, and a Solemn Warning. Storm Mirror Force is the most interesting trap that I'm playing, I think, because it doesn't seem, at first glance, super great in a meta that you kind of expect to be filled with a lot of Pendulum decks, since putting them back into their hand doesn't really accomplish much. They can just be Pendulumed again. But for right now, there's not the Magician to start a deck out yet, so this is probably the most prevalent of the Pendulum decks. And in the mirror match, this card's not bad at all, since you can just bounce your opponent's Majespecter creatures since it doesn't target or destroy. And when they're in their hand, they can tribute them to negate your effects, so you're actually in a much better place if you do this. This card's also better than regular Mirror Force against Cosmo, since Mirror Forcing the fighter ships will special summon more dudes, Storm Mirror Force in the back of their hand, they're stuck in their hand until they have another pilot to remove and special them, which is not a bad position to be in against a deck like Ignite, similar to playing it against Majespecters. Their board is just really what matters. If you clear it for a turn, you have the chance now to set up your board and gain control of the game back. And it's just been pretty good against every single relevant deck so far, and I'm really liking it. The other option I had was Time Space Trap Hole was a card I was really considering, but Time Space doesn't deal with this deck's inherent issue against established boards. And this just seemed like the card that does the best at both protecting me and dealing with boards that are already set up. Solemn Warning could easily be changed out for something that does that as well. That would definitely be one option, since we have 3 Majespecter Tempest to do a similar job. Bottomless is a little bit too good, I think, though, just removing from play the Cosmo guys, Inferno guys. You know, just really good against everything. Solemn Warning could definitely be changed out, though. But that's the main board. It's certainly a work in progress. A couple notable things are I'm not maining any copies of Wavering Eyes, which maybe is incorrect. Wavering Eyes is extremely good and it lets you combo extremely well. When I was testing with it, it did really come up in the early game, and I don't really want to play Yu-Gi-Oh in a way where my plan is to get ahead like later in the game, because that just gives your opponent too much time to kind of run over you with decks like Cosmo and Infernoids that can just get out of the gates right away. And Wavering Eyes needed a little bit extra setup to be good. Maybe I wasn't playing enough games with it, maybe my sample size isn't big enough, it was just awkward when I had it, but from what I can see, this deck required too much setup for a Wavering Eyes for it to really be good. And just in theory that kind of makes sense, because like I wanted to play extra Pendulum monsters even, because I didn't feel like there was enough of them. In Wavering Eyes, yeah, it nets you 1 back, but you still need to have another one to make an advantage out of that. So maybe Wavering Eyes would be better in here if I played more Pendulum cards. I could play some more generic Pendulum monsters in here, maybe then it gets good. But I don't know if that's even the way you really want to build this deck. Anyways, moving over to the extra deck, I have 2 copies of Ignister Prominence. Just such a strong card. Really lets you set up big boards with Draco Slayer for damage, control of the board, just anything you could possibly ask for. Along with that, I have 2 Master Paladins, the other Draco Slayer extra deck card. So this guy lets you get a Draco Slayer from your deck and special it, and this one lets you special summon a Draco Slayer from your extra deck. Like a face-up one. So Luster Pendulum from your extra deck when it's in there. So together you can just churn out boards, search cards at the end of your turn, deal with your opponent's board for relatively low cost. And I think that's really sick. So I did choose to play a big pile of them, which is almost definitely not necessary. And if I cut them, I would have space for some more rank 3 monsters. Like I said, I'm playing 0 Elf right now. This extra deck is kind of a crap show. I'm just really testing stuff. But whatever. I have 1 Evil Swarm Ouroboros, 1 Karen Gorgon, 1 Lightning Chidori, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Rhapsody, 1 Castell, 1 Diamond Direwolf, 1 Gaga Cowboy, and 1 Masquerade. Then one of the more interesting cards is Alchemic Magician, which with my main board doesn't really showcase its power that well. It lets you at the end of your turn discard a card and then search your deck for a spell and set it, which means you can search out Wavering Eyes, Mistaken Arrest, Shared Ride, and Book of Moon, or the really prominent ones, and to a lesser extent Book of Eclipse if you played it. And some number of those cards will almost certainly be in my deck, and obviously cards like Mistaken Arrest, Mystical Space Typhoon, Wavering Eyes will definitely be in my sideboard. And she just gives you such a strong toolbox to just get rid of a blank card in your hand in a matchup and just search for a relevant quick play spell that you can set to use as a trap. And then my last card is 1 Norito, the Moral Leader. It's 2 level 6 spellcasters to make, so 2 unicorns, and its ability lets you detach to negate an opponent's spell or trap card and destroy it, which is just extremely strong. It's a 2700 body. It's a card that hasn't seen much play before because, what level 6 spellcasters were you playing to make it? And I think that it's just going to be a really good card to play with, and I'm really excited to try it out. But there's a Majespecter deck list. This is rough, obviously. The brand new cards, brand new deck. I've barely had any chances to test it. So I would actually really appreciate your guys' comments, questions, ideas down below. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about them. I do try to check messages on videos that I make, especially on decks that I'm working on. So let me know what you guys think down there. I'd be more than happy to talk about it. If you guys are ever in the store and are interested in the deck, I'll have this built. So feel free to ask me about it if you want to take a look or play some games or something. Other than that, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. You can check us out on Facebook if you're from the Pittsburgh area to see all our events and sales and stuff that we have going on. And you can check out our website, topdeckcardsandgames.com. Thanks a ton for watching, guys.